The political landscape of Nigeria is currently trembling under the weight of a massive power struggle that is threatening to reshape the alliances we thought were set in stone. And if you are watching this, you need to pay very close attention because the marriage of convenience between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and President Bola Tinubu appears to be hitting a jagged iceberg. The headline you saw is not just a rumor. It is a developing story based on exclusive intelligence emerging from the very corridors of the presidential villa, indicating that Nyesom Wike is rapidly losing ground with the president, and in a desperate bid to save his political relevance, he has orchestrated a plan for the Rivers State House of Assembly to defect en masse to the All Progressives Congress, the APC, this coming Friday. We are broadcasting this special deep dive report today to unpack the layers of intrigue surrounding this sudden move. Because to understand why Wike is pushing for this defection now, you have to understand the cold reality that he's facing in Abuja. Sources close to the presidency have revealed that President Tinubu's inner circle has grown increasingly wary of the FCT minister, who has been described by insiders as being enmeshed in too many scandals to be a sustainable asset for the administration. It seems the Jagaban political machinery is recalculating its risks, and Wike is coming up as a liability. We are going to look at the failed vote of confidence strategy, the pressure from the United States and religious leaders, and the scars left by the state of emergency in Rivers State earlier this year. Let's get straight to the gist of this unfolding drama. According to credible reports from Sahara reporters, Nyesom Wike is currently fighting the battle of his life to remain in the good graces of President Tinubu. The minister, who is still technically a member of the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, knows that his position is precarious because the president belongs to the ruling APC. In an attempt to shore up his standing and prove his loyalty, Wike recently directed the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, who are loyal to him, to pass a vote of confidence in President Tinubu. This happened just this past Wednesday during the House's 37th legislative sitting. The motion, sponsored by Majority Leader Major Jack and supported by 25 other members, was a public display of affection for the president. They praised Tinubu for appointing Rivers indigenes into key positions. They cited projects like the East-West Road and the Bodo Road, and Speaker Martin Amaewhule even described Tinubu as a compassionate leader whose policies have helped states pay salaries. They resolved to mobilize their constituents for the president's renewed hope agenda and urged him to seek a second term. On paper, this looks like a massive win for Wike, a demonstration that he controls the legislative arm of a strategic oil-rich state. But here's the shocker. Insiders say the move failed to impress President Tinubu. The presidency's political gladiators have reportedly told him to ditch the minister because the baggage he carries is becoming too heavy for the administration to drag along towards 2027. The presidency feels that Wike is desperate to impress, but the optics are not looking good. This is why, in a bid to reassert his relevance and perhaps force the president's hand to accept him fully, Wike has reportedly struck a deal with the Rivers Assembly members to formally defect to the APC on Friday. This surprise defection is calculated to show that Wike can deliver the structures of the PDP into the APC, theoretically making him indispensable. However, the ground has shifted beneath Wike's feet, and to understand why, we have to look at the Fubara factor. Political observers have noted that the momentum in Rivers State has swung decisively in favor of Governor Sim Fubara. This shift is largely attributed to the fallout from the state of emergency that President Tinubu declared in Rivers State on March 18, 2025. You recall that following a severe political crisis between Wike's loyalists and the governor, the president stepped in, removed Governor Fubara, his deputy Prof. Ngozi Odu, and the House of Assembly from office and appointed Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas as a sole administrator. This emergency rule lasted for 6 months and was only lifted on September 18, 2025, allowing the elected officials to return. The unintended consequence of that action was that it galvanized the people of Rivers State around Governor Fubara. They saw him as a victim of high-handed politics, and his grassroots support solidified. Tinubu has reportedly realized this. Sources say the president now understands that the people of Rivers State are with Governor Sim Fubara, not Wike. Furthermore, Fubara has proven to be a hard nut to crack. Despite the pressure and the overtures, he has refused to decamp to the APC, choosing to remain in the PDP or at least independent of Wike's control. This leaves Wike isolated. He cannot deliver the governor, so he is trying to deliver the lawmakers on Friday as a consolation prize. If you are finding this breakdown of the high-stakes power play in Abuja and Rivers State insightful, and you want to keep getting the real story behind the headlines without the noise, please take a second right now to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, because we track these stories until the truth is laid bare. The pressure on President Tinubu to distance himself from Wike is coming from multiple powerful angles. It's not just about local politics, it's international. Sources have revealed that the president is under pressure from the United States government, as well as influential Christian and Muslim leaders in Nigeria, who have voiced strong opposition to Wike's continued influence. These stakeholders reportedly can't stand the minister, and their concerns are weighing heavily on the president as he calculates his path for the future. We also have to talk about the scandals. The presidency is worried because Wike has been enmeshed in a series of controversies since assuming office as the FCT Minister. Public figures and elected officials have criticized his autocratic leadership style and his approach to governance in Abuja. There have been serious allegations of land racketeering, with reports suggesting that land allocations in the FCT are being distributed to family members, allies and associates, rather than through transparent processes. Former APC Deputy National Publicity Secretary Timi Frank has publicly urged President Tinubu to suspend Wike, citing land grabbing and corruption. Even the senator representing the FCT, Ireti Kingibe, has accused him of running the capital with impunity and violating constitutional procedures. But it gets more personal. In August 2025, reports emerged that Wike secretly acquired a mansion worth $2 million in Winter Springs, Florida. The property was allegedly registered under the names of his wife, Justice Ebrechi Wike, who is a serving judge, and their children, Joaquin, Jasmine, and Jordan. This revelation raised massive questions about the source of the funds and the ethical implications of a serving judge having dual affiliations with such property acquisitions. Then in October, there was public outrage when Wike attended the 2025 Asia-Pacific Cities Conference in Dubai and took his two sons along. Photos surfaced showing his sons wearing official delegate lanyards, leading to accusations that he was turning government business into a family affair sponsored by public funds. These are the kind of headlines that embarrass a presidency trying to preach reform and austerity. There's also the matter of the Independent Electoral Commission. The rift between Wike and Tinubu deepened significantly over the appointment of the new INEC national chairman. Sarah reporters exclusively reported that Wike pushed very hard for Justice Abdullahi Liman, a justice of the Court of Appeal, to be appointed as the INEC boss. He went as far as securing security clearances for him, confident that his influence would carry the day. However, mounting skepticism within the presidency led to Liman's candidacy being quietly dropped, and President Tinubu instead appointed Joash Amupitan. This was a major blow to Wike's influence. The disagreement was so severe that Wike reportedly boycotted the last Council of State meeting in protest. Although he later claimed he had prior commitments and intentionally sent to Minister of State Maria Mahmoud Bunkure to represent him, insiders confirm it was a protest against his waning influence. So, as we approach this critical Friday, the stage is set for a showdown. Wike is playing his last card by moving the Rivers Assembly to the APC to prove he still has value. But with the president unimpressed by the vote of confidence, with the international community watching, and with Governor Fubara holding the grassroots, this move might just be too little too late. The surprise defection might just be the desperate act of a man who knows the ground is crumbling beneath him. What do you think? Is Nyesom Wike's time in the corridors of power coming to an end, or will this defection save him? Can President Tinubu afford to keep him despite the scandals? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.